Drifting is very popular in car culture, but I've never been a fan. Drift races are the last missions I do in Forza Horizon, and Tokyo Drift is my least favorite Fast and Furious movie. The maneuver just isn't that interesting to me. However, there's a new Nintendo Switch release called Victory Heat Rally, where you have to rely on drifting in order to win. Will it be able to change my mind? Victory Heat Rally is one of the latest releases from publisher Playtonic, and they graciously provided review code for this video. The game has been available on Steam for a month or two, but is now available on the Nintendo Switch here in mid-December. Not long after loading up Victory Heat Rally, you'll understand just what era and style of racing game is being evoked here.
Welcome to Victory Heat Rally!
Now, you might be surprised to hear this, but the point of this throwback racing game is to go fast and win.
3, 2, 1, go!
Doing so, however, will require you to drift around turns, which earns boost that will kick in as soon as you start to straighten out. There are 3 levels of boost that you can earn depending on how long you maintain an uninterrupted drift. These will be noted by this meter attached to your speedometer, which you probably cannot look at while drifting. So thankfully the developers color-coded each boost level, and the smoke coming from your tires while drifting will change color depending on the level that you've reached. That's a nice touch. You can't just not drift and drive well and expect to win though. You have to drift and get that boost, otherwise you'll never crack the top 3. It takes a hot minute to get used to the drift mechanic, but once it clicks, you're probably good. Tutorials mention a brake, but whatever, that's what walls are for. There's also an option to set automatic acceleration, which is a great accessibility feature, as that makes this a one-button game essentially. Other options allow you to customize the controls however you want, and I ended up with a gas on the right trigger and drift on the A button setup that worked quite nicely for me. Brake was set to the left trigger, but that button is collecting dust. While the point is to win races, of course, it's not as intense of an experience as you might think. The graphics and sound, with one exception I'll talk about in a minute, are nice and chill. I wasn't stressed out trying to win races, I was just having fun learning the tracks and trying to perfect my drift technique. I wouldn't necessarily call it a relaxing game, but it's definitely a less stressful experience than you might be expecting. The soundtrack here is good but limited, and after 8 or 10 hours or so, you might switch to podcasts or Spotify if you're still trying to collect first place finishes in all the races. But the tunes that are here are certainly appropriate to the style of the game, and I've really been enjoying them so far. As I mentioned though, there is one audio exception that will harsh your mellow, or whatever kids say these days. In certain race situations, you can bump another racer off the track, and what comes over the radio afterwards is a very loud, blood-curdling scream as the driver explodes into whatever you just bashed them into. There are multiple modes in the game, but Championship mode is where you should start, as it's the single-player campaign, and it's also where the tutorials live. It has minimally animated cutscenes and some brief voice acting. You choose from multiple racers and cars, each with their own unique stat benefits. Then you progress through a mostly straightforward game board, winning races and collecting trophies. Occasionally, winning a race will open up an alternate path where you can engage in some less traditional contests, such as challenges against a certain rival, or a slalom event where each successful gate adds 2 seconds to your remaining time. Or you might be fortunate enough to enter the Cone Zone, where you have to smash a certain number of obstacles in order to get gold. Other modes include local multiplayer for up to 4 racers, time trials, and a Grand Prix mode that allows you to play through each series of races individually without having to deal with all the trappings of the story. There are some occasional graphics glitches on the outer edges of this game, nothing I noticed during actual gameplay, but after a race, for example, I have no idea what dimension my car is phasing into. Also, when you're switching between Grand Prix modes, the restriction for each level is hidden behind the graphic. I'm sure both of these things can be fixed in a simple patch, and I am playing a pre-release version, so I would wager that'll most likely happen. Victory Heat Rally is a fine little racer and feels right at home on the Nintendo Switch. Performance is solid, and the retro vibes are probably just what you're looking for if you're watching this video. Give it a look, I recommend it.